So, Brad, how did blood all come about? Because there's a lot, this is kind of the age old tale of how far would you go for your family to kind of love for them and care for them. So, how did this story all come about?
Well, I was given the script, as one of those kind of, and by my agents, and read it and just really responded to the material. It's in my kind of wheelhouse of psychological thriller horror kind of realm, but also has like a really deep kind of emotional context to it. I like the fact that it was sort of in one way, it's sort of a genre story, like vampires, and at least that's how we can look at it. But it's also really a story about a mother and her family and how she struggles to kind of like get by.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and so I liked how it sort of really was almost like a family drama in the context of a vampire story. And didn't also like it wasn't a when I read the script, it didn't read like a vampire story. It read like a kind of horrific medical drama about a kid, a woman's son who starts to have this penchant for blood, and what the lengths that she'll go to kind of keep him alive. Um, there's not like a very there's not a very like typical supernatural through line to the story. It's there's elements of it, but it's very much focused on the characters, which I thought was great.
Right. And that's kind of really cool about the horror genre, right? There's so many layers that you can kind of disguise in the same film. Like one of
Yeah,
my friends, Adam Marcus, kind of described it to me as, you can kind of feed people vegetables with their desserts when you make a horror film with so many layers that you can put in. So that
yeah,
always has to be fun when you kind of have a shot at a film like this as well.
it is fun. I mean, that's what I like about the genre, as you said. It's so you can use it to tell so many different types of stories, love stories, thrillers, sci-fi, romances, whatever. You can take it and twist it and turn it into many different ways and still have like the kind of essence of a good horror story. And horror itself is like it's such a malleable subject. It can be bloody and gory, it can be psychological, it can be
Right.
emotional, and I think what I liked about this one was that it kind of touched on a number of those ways that we think of horror. I mean, none of the movies I've done fit neatly into any one category. They kind of straddle different ones, and this one, when I got involved, sort of seemed like a good story that kind of fit into the kind of films that I've done in the past.
And how was it like getting Marcel involved in this along with Skeet Ulrich? I mean, getting those two people involved had to be pretty exhilarating as well. Because you worked with a lot of A-listers over the past few years. You worked with Kristen Bell and the Machinist. Then you had the
Mm.
cast, incredible cast for Session 9. So how was this? Did it feel any different? Or was it just kind of like, I've been around the block a few times kind of situation as well?
Well, I think it was Michelle came on initially. I mean, it's really her movie, right?
Right.
And we had tried to work on a movie project together in the past. It didn't come together. So I thought of her for this right off the bat because she's so great, and so versatile and emotional, and all the things that we needed for the role. And she really responded to the script. So it was really just a base. It was really just the kind of thing where, okay, she loves it, I love it, it works for us. Let's do it. And so I think when you cast a movie, you're always casting. I mean, I try to find people who just seem so perfectly fit for the character and for the role that it just makes my life as a director so much easier because they're already halfway there or more. And she really tapped into it. She's a mother. She understands like her kids are a little younger than the kids in the story, but she totally gets it, and she really, I think, connected to the idea of a mother, literally giving a pound of flesh to save her child, like that kind of concept. Like she really connected with that. So that was great. And she was lovely to work with and amazing. And Skeet came on after that because, we needed her husband.
Right.
And I mean, I had no relationship with Skeet, but I'm so happy to have gotten him on board because he's such a great, even in this limited time that he's on screen, you just believe him as like this father who's like watching his ex-wife like fall to pieces and not terrified as to what she might become, or what she might be doing. So it was a great cast overall, and the children too, Skylar
Yeah.
and Finn, who play the son and the daughter. I mean, there were people. We obviously did a big casting call to find these two kids, and I think they just delivered. Really, it's a tough role for both of them, and they really just pulled it out. So,
And one last question for you. What are you excited most about Blood getting ready to come out in a few weeks? What are you most excited for people to take away from it?
well, I just hope they, like kind of what we had been just discussing, like see it as something more than just a straight out horror movie. That I've always tried to find ways to take the genre and like tweak it a little bit. And I think the emotional component of this movie, this sort of heartbreaking, it's about a mother who loses her son, who loses a
Right. Yeah.
child. It's pretty intense. And I think that the emotional part of it, to me, the heartbreak of it was beyond the horror element, the scary parts of it is something that I hope audiences connect with, because I always found that's what I loved about the script. Like I was in tears when I read it. It's just so sad in a way, but also, I mean, in the end, like you kind of understand that this woman has been through the gauntlet, but she's going to get by. And it, it's just one of those kind of stories that I really, I really connect with, like I connect with cats. Um,
Yeah, we just
and
got
it's
this
like
cat 2 weeks ago, so it's still trying.
beautiful, yeah, beautiful. So yeah, I think that, I mean, and then just like, as a great representation of what Michelle Monaghan can do as an actress. I mean, she really pulls out all the stops. And these two kids who, hopefully are starting their careers, and this kind of a movie and these kind of roles can help them do that.
All right, Brad. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really fun, and congratulations on Blood.
Thanks. Great talking to you, man.